ITIL 4 also introduces the 5-part service value system shown here. Note that ITIL v3 did cover many of these elements, but didn't package them in this way. Here again, ITIL 4 uses language updated to reflect DevOps, Lean, and Agile practices and terminology, like the service value chain versus ITIL v3 service lifecycle, which reflected more of a waterfall and less of an Agile approach. Let's have a look at some of these elements. Guiding principles are maxims that guide organizations over changing times and circumstances. Governance is how an organization is directed and controlled. The service value chain is an organization's interrelated activities that it performs to create and deliver a valuable product or service to its consumers. Practices are organizational resources designed for performing work or accomplishing an objective. Notably, practices replace the separate notions of processes and functions in ITIL v3. For example, in ITIL 4, the service is a practice, as is incident management. More on that later. That leaves continual improvement, the recurring activity performed at all levels to ensure that an organization's performance continually meets stakeholder expectations. The ITIL v3 syllabus specified 34 key terms, principles, and models. The ITIL 4 exam specification includes 19 key terms and 7 guiding principles, also shown here for comparison. I've highlighted the terms specified in ITIL v3 and 4. Note that while some terms specified for ITIL 4 Foundation are not listed in the ITIL v3 syllabus, terms like output, risk, service, and service management, they were certainly covered in the course. Lastly, note that the 7 guiding principles, while new to ITIL Foundation, are adapted from the 9 principles covered in the ITIL v3 practitioner course. And now we come to roles. While ITIL v3 Foundation had much coverage around service and process roles in RACI, there was no equivalent coverage in the ITIL 4 Foundation book, course, or exam. So while the first dimension of service management in ITIL 4, organization and people, speaks to roles at some length, it does not speak to these specific roles from ITIL v3. This may reflect the DevOps, Agile and Lean ideas of shared ownership around outcomes and a more agile and less hierarchical approach. Lastly, ITIL v3 Foundation covered technology and architecture, which was mainly about optimization through automation. This coverage is roughly equivalent to the ITIL 4 guiding principle of optimize and automate. Optimization and automation are huge in DevOps, Lean and Agile circles and huge in today's businesses and IT. So shifting from a thing, technology and architecture, to an action statement or directive, optimize and automate, is a welcome change. What's interesting here is that ITIL v3 positions itself as descriptive, describing what to do and why, but not prescriptive. With the addition of the 7 principles, ITIL 4 becomes prescriptive, meaning it tells you to do something, for example, to optimize and automate. However, it's still not prescribing how to do it specifically. As that will vary by technology and platform and organization, it's just saying you will do it. What ITIL 4 is continuing to do well is to point out the key outcomes to aim for and the fundamental principles and practices that help you get there.